Hello all you truly gorgeous people of the internet, hope you're all doing incredibly well. Got my nephew Isaac's Corolla here, he's just picked this thing up, he's 19 years old. This is going to be his runaround car to get him to and from work and to and from uni. It's got some leaking rear shocks, so we're going to make hay while the sun shines. Going to crack into it and we're going to put 4 new struts in it and 4 lowered springs by Pedders. I'll show you what we've got. Worst comes to worst, I've got a little bit of help here from my cat. So this is the thing, it's actually a fairly neat car. It's done really low Ks. It does have a little scrape on the driver's door, but besides from that, the rest of the car is immaculate. He got this thing for an absolute ripper deal, and it's only done 96,000 Ks. So we've got 4 Pedders struts and 4 Pedders lowered coils here. So we're gonna get the thing in, get it up on the hoist. I'm doing this as a little bit of a surprise thing for Isaac because he's away for a couple of days. So I wanna try and knock this out for him while he's away. I'm going to try and knock out the front this afternoon, and then we'll come back and probably do the back tomorrow. But let's just get on the hoist and crack into it. Before measurement on the back, before we put it on the hoist, we are sitting at about 695 mil. And on the front, we're sitting at about 670 mil. Front struts on these things are pretty easy to remove. You've got your 2 main lower strut bolts. We've got 1 nut up here for your sway bar link, 1 bolt back here for your brake line. And then we've got 3 nuts up the top here on your strut tower. So undo all of that stuff and the strut should just come out. Very good, we're about 15 minutes in. We've got both of the front struts out. Pretty easy and straightforward. Got the passenger side ones just chilling on the ground. The driver side one is hanging out in my vise. So this is our old assembly and this is what we're replacing with on the front. Obviously we've got the other side for over there. The front struts are different left and right, and that's just basically the orientation of this bracket for the brake line. So we're going with a Pedders sports strut, and they're also the sports lowering springs. So what we need to do now is grab our spring compressors and compress these springs down, and then we'll remove the sort of the boot that's up in here, just like that. And there is a nut sitting in there. So once this is compressed and the spring starts coming away from this upper seat, we can safely remove that nut, remove the top hat, and then we can remove the top mount as well as this lower rubber insulator. So the lower rubber insulator, the dust boot, the bump stop that's in here, the top mount and the top hat with the bearing plate all need to be transferred over onto the new strut. So we'll start by getting this all blown apart and yeah, we'll just keep going. We've got our spring compressors on and it's compressed up and you can see we've got a little bit of a gap here, starting to separate. So that's good. So now we can go through and remove that 19mm top nut and go through and start disassembling everything. Okie dokie, got our old strut chilling in the box. New strut is sitting in the vise. Here are all of the things that we need to carry over. So we've got our lower rubber mount or lower rubber insulator. Then we've got our bump stop, which just basically sits sort of like that. Then we have our bump stop, our dust boot with top rubber insulator. It's all one piece. Then we've got our top plate and top mount. So here's our old spring versus our new one. You can see the difference is quite considerate. However, this has got 7 coils, whereas this has 6. So much firmer spring and should make the thing look a little bit better as well. So let's just go through and bang this all back together. So the front's lower than the back now. Surprise, surprise. I've literally just driven it from the lift into here. And I'm just having a little sit in my chair because I'm stuffed. I was thinking about starting on the back today, but yeah, I just really can't be bothered. It's late. I've just had a very quick measure and the front's come down pretty much bang on 40 mil so far. So that's a little bit over 1.5 inches. But yeah, we haven't driven this thing or anything. So once the back's done, we'll take it for a decent drive and let the suspension settle down a bit. And then we'll remeasure it. But yeah, that's it for now. We'll pick this up again after we finish work tomorrow. I'm back, ladies and gents. We are doing the rear suspension on Isaac's Corolla this afternoon. So as you can see, this strut is starting to leak a little bit. It's a little bit wet and not great. To get the rear struts out of these things is pretty simple as well. There's 2 studs. There's one there and one there that have got a nut on the inside that go down. So we will need to take interior trims off to access that. And then there's one 14mm bolt here. And then there's the big main nut down there. My plan of getting this done to surprise Isaac has failed because here's Isaac. So he's going to give me a hand with the rear end. You excited, bro?
Excited.
Good chat. Alrighty, let's crack into it. To remove these trims is a little bit complicated. We're going to try and do it without removing the trim completely, just sort of like pull it back and see if we can get enough access. So we've taken the floor out and the cargo thing out, cargo blind, whatever you want to call it. We've unbolted this toolbox tray from this side. We just held in with two 10mm nuts. We're unbolting this trim, which is held in with two 10mm bolts that normally go here and here, which I've already taken out. This will just unclip, and then hopefully we can pull this back enough to get enough room. So we ended up taking that back trim piece off as well, which is just in with two clips. And I think we have just enough room now. So that's the bolt that goes in from underneath. There's the nut from one of the studs. And the other one is just there. So should be able to get on that as well. So we'll undo that nut, and then we'll go underneath. Cool beans, got them both pulled apart and both those nuts are off on both sides. So now we can go up and do some more underneath. Rightio, so all that's left to get the struts out now is the 14mm nut up, bolt up here and the 19mm nut here. But being a beam axle, this will want to drop when you release the strut. So we're going to do it side by side, and we'll get a little stand and put it underneath so it takes the weight. This is going to be the same scenario as what we did on the front. So spring compressors are on, compressor spring, top nut off, transfer the bump stop, the dust boot and the top hat over to the new stuff and reassemble. Rightio, cool beans, the new strut is in the vise. Here's our new spring versus our old spring. So now we just go through and reassemble. We have our top hat, our bump stop and dust boot assembly, and the main washer and nut. So reverse of what we just did. So this strut is all together and it's just sitting in place where it needs to be. So that's all looking good. We'll go through and pull this one out and do exactly the same thing. So we've jumped ahead and got everything basically under the car back together. Both struts are in. Bottom nut is tight, that top bolt is tight, and the wheels are back on. So now just drop it down, get the interior back together, and then we'll get off the hoist and take it for a drive and see how it looks. And we are all finished. Let's get it off, see how it looks. We're all done. Took the thing for about a good 25-minute drive. We've just picked it up from having the alignment done from down the street, and this is how it all looks. Isaac is absolutely wrapped with it. Honestly, for just struts and springs, the way this thing handles is quite impressive, even on standard tires and wheels. Very, very happy with it. Looks a lot better. Final measurements, it's come down about 45mm in the front and about 55mm in the back. So yeah, that's it. That's it, guys. If you want to see more content like this, please remember to like and subscribe. I know it was only a quick video, but I hope that you enjoyed it regardless. You won't be seeing Isaac for a little while. He's heading back up to uni up to Queensland to go back to uni, and his part-time job he's got up there. He's been down for a few months, so he won't be back for about a year. Very sad to see him go. This guy is I treat him like my son. I have a lot of love for him. So catch you guys in the next video. Until I see you again, be safe and be good to yourselves and each other.